performing our next nominated tune is a man who has repeatedly proven that he cannot talk, and who tonight will prove that he can't sing either. Vince McMahon performing, and I believe this is good advice for all of you here and at home, to put your fingers up your ears and stand back. Vince McMahon. Told me what I should do, who I should be. I got some kind of free advice. I finally had to say, stand back, stand back. They never understood the kind of man I am. I do my own thinking, got a lot of big plans. Stand back. I promise you will lose. Stand back. Stand back. Stand back. Stand back. Reaching for the sky, stand back. Stand back. That's a fact. Stand back. I'm a man running wild, headed for the top. Never slowing down, and I'm never gonna stop. On the way, you're gonna see a lot of men drop. Baby, watch them drop. Baby, baby.
Skills and vocabulary too. All the hits in the edition is all brand new. You're through. I'm interplanetary like Doctor Who. So who?
Fuck your beef, no relief. I step on stage, girls scream like I'm Keith.
What's up, everybody? It is Ring Time Pro Wrestling. Keith is in the building riding solo on, I guess this will be a Friday morning for the rest of y'all. We are here to preview the WWE Clash of the Champions pay-per-view. We will go down a list of everything that's happened this week with Raw, SmackDown, Jericho showing up in New Japan at the tag finals. So we'll break that down, what that means. We'll talk a little bit about the New Japan Wrestle Kingdom press conference that took place also this week. You guys should have been on the lookout for that. And we will talk about just some other things going on in the wrestling world. People getting jobs, people losing jobs, people maybe coming back to places they once were. So without further ado, let's get into this week's breakdown. You know how we do. We work our way back, come forward. So we will talk about Raw. This week, Samoa Joe opened the show with a call out of Roman Reigns. Really, he was calling out the whole Shield, but more specifically Roman Reigns. Even though individual matches are already scheduled for the show, Joe called out Reigns. Reigns came out. They had a little brawl. Then there was a setup for an ambush by Cesaro and Sheamus. Then the rest of the Shield came out, and everybody pretty much got dumped off. And that's how we opened up the show, with Shield laying down, getting beaten up by everybody. I don't know if it was the best way to open the show. Don't know if it was exactly necessary, but maybe we need to make the Shield feel like they are in danger. It's not the prevailing storyline on the show, which is good because I don't know if I could take that. Even though it is kind of dominant because they broke that issue into 4 segments, which probably is a lot. Even on a 3-hour show, I think they could have found other ways to work that out. Paige and Mandy Rose defeated Mickie James and Bayley in a tag match, which it was nice to see Mandy Rose, but maybe Paige could have been on the outside for this one, and Sonya Deville and Mandy Rose could have tag teamed together, just because Paige had her debut last week, her individual debut. She already wrestled in the 6-man match. So, ideally, unless you don't think Sonya Deville is ready, but if you don't think she's ready, I don't know why you would call her up. Because you didn't have to call her up. You could have called up somebody else for NXT. So, the only way you're going to get ready, honestly, is ring time and actually getting in there. In a tag match, I think Bayley and Mickie, especially Mickie James, are both experienced enough that they could have carried them both along. And I think it would have just been better exposure for both of the young lions to have their opportunity. With Paige sitting as the mentor that she's supposed to be on the outside of the ring for this match. I mean, it's just an observational thing. It's not necessarily something that's etched in stone or something I think that altered the course of the show. It's just something like, just from observationally looking, that's kind of how I would have moved that story along. Finn Balor defeated Curtis Axel. Axel took off the neck brace and looking better. Him and Bo Dallas are continuing the job a little bit while Miz is out. They probably won't be back in the Miztourage. I think that's probably going to be done when he comes back because these dudes taking some losses. And be honest with you, I think they lost their angle with that a long time ago and where that was going. The Miztourage was an incredible idea. I thought it would have been a good chance to get both of those guys up off the ground because I think they have talent. I just don't think that they've been utilized correctly over the years. And Axel is a special case because Axel, he may have some kind of, existential personality, but for what you can see in watching the show, it doesn't really come out. Now, I know WWE is not the greatest place for you to bring that out. There's a lot of guys that people say, backstage, those guys are incredible, but they just don't utilize them correctly on the program. And I think that's one of those places where, hey, man, you got to fix that on your own. You can't, they're not going to give you a shot. You got to work that out on your own. Next match. Cedric Alexander defeats Mustafa. Well, you know what? Let me go. Seth Rollins defeats Sheamus in a singles match. Solid match. Not too up, not too down. Nothing I can take away from it. It doesn't mean anything in the greater scheme of whatever they're going to try to do with this. Cedric Alexander defeated Mustafa Ali, Tony Nese, and Davari. Alexander will now face Drew Gulak for the number 1 contender spot in the Cruiserweight division. So, how did we get here? Because I know you was thinking, was it Rich Swann supposed to face Drew Gulak? Yes, Rich was supposed to face Drew Gulak. But this is a segment I usually cover in the news. But I will now cover it in Raw just because it's relevant to the conversation. Rich Swann has been suspended indefinitely by the WWE for domestic battery. I was going to, well, actually, I don't know if I was going to. When the story first dropped, A lot of people reached out and sent me things. Keisha, one of them, who like, hey, did you see this? Y'all know my personal disdain for one Rich Swann, but those are two separate issues right now with this. And because of my disdain for Rich Swann, which a lot of it that's jokes, I generally would take this time to say I told y'all so. Everybody was like, look, Rich Swann's a good guy. Yeah, you should like Rich Swann. Okay. Like I said, those were jokes. What I will say about this, because there was a little bit of me that was like, hey, I clown Rich Swann. But I figured out that would be unfair to do. And not to Rich Swann. I really don't care about Rich Swann. But there's an actual victim in the case. And domestic battery and, kidnapping or, false imprisonment or things of that nature are not things to joke about. So I'm not going to do that with Rich Swann. Now the question is brought up, is he done with the WWE? I don't know. There's two prevailing ideas with me with that. The first one is, yeah, he's done. Because here's the thing. I fully believe he did it. So just by reading the police report, it just I don't see no wiggle room around it. Like, he probably did it. Companies like to wear press conferences, man. You cannot be a publicly traded company that trades on the New York Stock Exchange, have somebody on your payroll who is accused of this thing at this time, right? Because I don't know if you notice in the media, cats getting fired left and right. A lot of cats. Just on the investigation, they ain't taking time. They not trying to figure out. And some of the stuff that's coming out now is like, oh, I don't even know if everything they did was totally wrong. But they getting fired. So I don't think Rich Swann is important enough to try to hold on to see if this blows over. Because I think that's the thing too. Like, a lot of the definite suspension, you keep him off TV, and hey, in 2 months he can show back up. Problem is, he's a babyface character who is highly marketed to kids. It's easier to move on without him. He's not, like I said, he's not an integral part of the show. I'll go you one better. Hulk Hogan ain't been mentioned in the WWE and ain't had no real interaction with the company for about a better part of 2 years. And I think what he did was wrong. But I'm just using him as an example, just to pose that he's an all-time legend. Rich Swann ain't that. You got a one-time cruiserweight title reign that I don't think most of y'all remember. And that happened this year. So, I'm just saying, he's probably done. Like, this is probably it for his WWE career. I mean, if he's going to come back, it's going to be like 2 to 3 years later. But, yeah, pretty much that's it. Like I said, he's not important enough that they would probably want to hang on to or try to do something. You just move on. They have a roster so with depth, and they got so many new up-and-comers, and the way they've been stockpiling NXT, which I think has done some damage to the indies, but that's another story for another time. But I think they're moving on. Like, there's just, he doesn't move the meter enough to worry about something like that. Roman Reigns defeats Cesaro to retain the IC title. IC title was on the line. They did a really good job in this match, because it's kind of, these are probably the hardest matches to put on, right? You have to create an element of this title could change hands. But from a theoretical story standpoint, it can't change hands, because at most, that title has to change hands with Samoa Joe, right? Like, I think that's, if it's going to change hands anytime in the next 2 to 3 months, it's going to be going to Samoa Joe. Or something where Samoa Joe causes the title to change. But Cesaro, he's too involved in the tag team title beef, and he's got the tag title. Like, just it. But they made the match compelling enough to allow you to suspend that disbelief for a little while and believe that, hey, this belt can get dropped. Cesaro is up in a special spot for me because how many more of these matches does he have to have? Like, how many times do you have to see him in a match and be like, yo, that dude probably should be in a better spot? I mean, y'all called this with Superman. Power for power, probably the strongest guy there. Incredible worker. Has been since he's been in the company. And y'all squandered some time with him in NXT, which I get. Y'all didn't believe Ring of Honor could probably get somebody ready for the WWE, even though him and Hero probably was the best tag team in the world for a time before they became to the company. Which, that was a flawed mistake too. Y'all brought him and Hero in together and then split them up. That should have been something that happened down the line. That's something that should have happened after a title run, after you get them on the main roster. Then you could have made that a little bit more compelling. But just out the gate, him and Hero going their separate ways probably wasn't the best developmental thing for either one of them. And, I mean, Hero's still doing his thing down at NXT after y'all brought him back. And it just, I know hindsight's 20/20, but listen to Keith Holt. Before you have to use your hindsight, it's probably even a better role to go. So, moving along. Asuka faced off with Absolution. So we finally got some resolution to what's going to happen with them. Because I didn't know if she was going to join. And I think that was the idea that they wanted to put forth. Like, hey, they jumping everybody but Asuka. And maybe there's something there. And then she would always smile. I mean, Asuka never played. She's very poker face. You never know what she's thinking. So, and I mean, I don't think she's ever really identified herself as it. She is a character babyface in the sense that she's always just been juxtaposed against heels. But, hey man, we don't know. Because they don't really give her that, that time to talk to give the idea of what's inside her mind. So it was good. It was a good role. But no, Absolution tried to do the jump thing, and hey, Asuka looked good till the numbers got a hold of her. But then, hey, the Raw Women's roster came down and cleaned house. Now. And Nia Jax showed up, which I thought was amazing because they kept her away from them for most of the time. And what they're doing with Nia Jax is something we'll talk about in the next 5 minutes or so. But I will say this. This is the first time I've seen a wrestling company actually make the early part of an invasion angle make sense. And what I mean by that is this. These 3 girls came to the show and just started jumping everybody. 301, 302, you know what I mean? But they went after everybody. It took the locker room a couple of weeks, but they got it together and decided, hey, 3 can't beat 8. And they showed up. And they flushed them out. People put aside their differences to deal with this problem. Smart. Very, very smart. Let's watch this. NWO. Y'all let 5 guys beat up the whole damn company every week. Nexus. We let about 7 dudes beat up the whole locker room. Even when it went down to 6, They still beat up the whole locker room. Like, it was just never like, okay, can we get 7 of the 30 other guys back there to make sure it's even? Or can 14 of the 30 show up so, like, these other 7 don't run a rough shot over the whole operation? So good. Kudos to Raw. So now, this faction will have to be a little bit more cagey and have to figure out ways to, manage their attacks. Also, this lets them eventually work the storyline where, they'll pick up some friends, they'll get some allies, or they'll be used for somebody's greater good. Because, hey, I may not like you, but if you can beat up that lady that has the title, then she'll be weaker for our match on Sunday. So, I mean, I think they'll work it out. But that is where we are with that. Samoa Joe defeated Dean Ambrose in a weird match because it involved Jason Jordan, which I don't know how Jason Jordan is going to keep working into the show. Here, I think when they put Joe with Cesaro and Sheamus and put them against the Shield, I think it left Jordan as an odd man out. Now, he keeps showing up for an attack, but it just... man, I don't know. But for right now, he took out ruined the match, and Ambrose is probably going to want some blood from Jason Jordan, but he is not going to really have time to extract that blood from Jason Jordan. But the whole Shield is going to want it with Jason Jordan. The Jason Jordan heel turn is, I'll say this is progressing pretty good though. But now you just have to find guys for him to wrestle, because you can't keep him in this. I don't think it's going to work out. But, yeah. That is how things roll. But, going down the line, Dana Brooke joins Titus Worldwide. Just something I just throw in there. Braun Strowman and Kane had a match that was supposed to determine the #1 contender to face Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble, which it did not, because it did all-out chaos. And anyway, Braun put Kane through a table, but it didn't really determine the winner of a match. Now, I thought Braun would be logically to defeat Kane and go on to face Brock, because it makes more sense. Even though I think that match should be bigger. And mind you, Royal Rumble is a Big Four pay-per-view. I would like to see Brock and Braun at Mania. I think those two guys can do it at Mania. I think you could build Braun up behind that. After Survivor Series, after him choking out Triple H, I think Braun is set to be like your next thing. Like he's a big star now, but I think he could be like that guy for you guys for the foreseeable future. I mean, I don't think no wrestling company's ever bet on a monster to be the face, but what he offers believability. Because I don't know nothing about Braun Strowman's background, but I believe Braun Strowman. I believe him very much. Whatever you tell me about him, I'm going to say, okay, that's probably true. So, and I mean, his athleticism, I think is shocking. Like, it's just, I thought we had a big stiff. I contend on this show a lot of times. I was wrong about Braun. I was out here like, yo, that dude ain't going to be that. That's just going to be another big guy. I've seen too many big guys wash out. But no, this guy's dangerous. But you could let Kane go ahead and take this #1 contender slot and then lose to Brock at Rumble. Because here's And it just be some shenanigans. How Braun loses. I wouldn't wedge Triple H in there right away, even though I know he wants to be there. But figure it out. But with that being said, I think it's time for the break. We will be back on the other end of this, and we will talk about the news, birthdays, SmackDown, and there might be a break in this. I thought I was riding this by myself, but hey, Keisha may be in the building. So sit back, enjoy the break, and we will come back on the other end. Enjoy this halftime promo provided by the Codes of the podcast. You know, they always bring us something. So, yep. Be back in a second. Well, hold on. I ain't gonna say a second. Grab the wrong thing. Yeah, there we go. We'll be right back.
I guess that brings us to Mr. Jericho. You have the floor for 45 seconds.
It's obvious that I'm surrounded by neophytes in this ring, surrounded by neophytes in this entire arena. But all of you need to quiet down, because the true best in the world at everything I do is about to enunciate. You want facts? Here's a fact. There isn't a human being who's been in more Elimination Chamber matches on this planet than me. There isn't a human being that's eliminated more superstars in the chamber than me. The last time I was in a chamber match, I walked out the world heavyweight champion. I mean, seriously, let's be honest here. My list of accomplishments in my career outweighs the list of accomplishments of you 5 wannabes incorporated completely. I am here. All 5 of you are here. And that brings me to you, punk. Look at me when I'm talking to you, boy. All right, punk, you might as well give me that world title right now, because your master has come to reclaim what is his. Do you understand what I am saying to you right now?
All right, everybody, we are back at it. Got a surprise guest. Keisha has shown up with a lot of background noise, but she's here.
I'm sorry. I'm walking through the house and making all kinds of noise. I'm gonna go sit down now. I am doing way too much, and I need to get my life together. I really do. Okay. I have sat down. I'm good. Hello, people. Hi, everybody. Sorry that I'm late. Had a few disruptions. I'm good. I'm good right now.
All right. So we are here. It is birthday time. So this week, birthdays. Not that much. I go backwards. Wednesday was Michael Elgin's birthday. And Junkyard Dog, the late great Junkyard Dog, would have been 6. Hold on, let me make sure I got this right. 65. Yeah, he would have been 65 today. today, Showtime EY celebrates a birthday. Eric Young turns 38 years old. Tomorrow, on Saturday, Luke Harper will be celebrating a birthday. Luke Harper turns 38. I didn't realize Luke was that old. I mean, he looks old, but I thought he was younger because just having
when you look
business,
old, you're not always that old.
Yeah.
You just look old. Got it.
Yeah, like
Trust.
he looked old, but I thought he was like 34. Like I knew he was in his 30s, but I just thought he was like 34 or something. I didn't know.
Right.
I mean, I know he looked 40, but I think
Yeah.
I think time in the business is one of those things for me. Like I'm like, oh well, he probably just done. Even though he could have been in the business longer than I was aware of him, right? Like I didn't know who he was until 2011. So for me to like be like, oh well, he probably been in the business like 10 years. I mean, he could have been in the business 18 for all I know.
Right.
Even though I just think a 6'8" guy doesn't last that long, but hey, people last all the time on the indies for whatever reason. I'm just thinking a guy who reminds people of Bruiser Brody would have risen quicker if he was in the business earlier, but that's me overthinking it, right? That's me thinking with my own like sensibilities to the situation. Because when I use a Bruiser Brody reference, it goes over a lot of people's head. Like, who was what? But do your research. Brody never really was in the WWF, so you guys probably, you got to do a little research. But yeah, man, Brody was a monster, and a very astute businessman to the point like he pissed off promoters. But when somebody say it, like when promoters say a guy's hard to work with, I'm like, I don't listen to that shit.
Right.
It's kind of like when they talk about any athlete or something. Like, yeah, man, the guy just wants his money. Yeah, pretty much. That's what it's about. Like, look, whenever there's a dispute between labor and management, I side with labor. Almost always side with labor. Because even when you're dealing with rich people, hey, man, yeah, I side with the labor. But, that's neither here nor there. So, Keish, I discussed Rich Swann earlier. I discussed him doing wrong.
Right.
I'm going to let you know I took the high road. Now I sound like I pat myself on the back. But, no.
You took the high road?
No.
Come on, Keith.
Yeah, no, here's the thing. And like I said, now I sound like I pat myself on the back. But this is where I went with this. I don't think there's anything funny about domestic battery. And me treating this kind of callous, I think, would be unfair to the victim.
Right, I understand.
So
I understand completely.
I left it alone. But
okay.
I don't think Rich is going to be back. Like I said earlier, he's not important enough for them to hold on to. So, and companies like to win press conferences, man. Like,
right.
Hey, look, we doing the right thing. All right, yeah, it's easy to fire Rich Swann. Let me see what happened when John Cena get in trouble. Then I know where your principles lie. You know what I'm saying?
See, that's my thing too. Rich Swann is like a person on the bottom. Well, I don't say the bottom of the totem pole, but he's pretty much close. Like it's like, I mean, when you put them on 205 Live, you put them in a place to where they're in this weird space. They're not necessarily the top tier of wrestlers, but then they're not necessarily at the bottom either. I want to call them mid-card, but it's kind of like, I don't know, because they don't wrestle anybody else but themselves.
Right.
So when you fire somebody like Rich Swann, it's like, okay, well, we don't see him that much anyway, so that's not really a bigger impact, like as a John Cena or like a Roman Reigns or something like that. Like if one of them were to do something like this, let's see what you do about that situation.
Well,
Like,
here's the thing.
let me see how you respond to that.
Here's the thing. He was one of 5 dudes that was a part of a clique, right? Now, they wasn't even a clique. So that's the thing, too. They wasn't bound by anything. So you could just plug the next babyface little guy, right?
Right.
And I'll go you one further. He wasn't even one of the top 5 most important people on that show. And I'll say that to say, look, Hideo Itami has been put down on 205 Live, which I think this could be the beginning of the end for him, but that's a whole other story. But I think they realized he couldn't be at NXT forever today, and hey, hopefully he can stay healthy, but we can kick him on 205 Live and let him work it out there. But he's not going to be there with no little poo butt spot. They spent a lot of money bringing this guy over, right? A few years ago. He's going to require a spot. So, you know, that's less shine for him. This was going to be covered in the news. Dave and talks of bringing Neville back. Apparently, Neville, after leaving and them coming to the terms of their release or whatever, cooler heads have prevailed. I think both sides are sitting down and realizing that, hey, we might be better off together. One, I know Neville probably ain't never seen checks like that before. Because, I mean, when you go to the biggest company in the world, just understand, things are different.
Right.
And you got merch sales and stuff like that. Man, look, I know the first few checks on the indies was like, hey, all right, cool. I could be back and survive, but you surviving, but you ain't living. That's the difference. Hey man, if I had to go back to making, $15 an hour, I can live.
Right.
I mean, I can survive, but I ain't gonna be living no more. But I mean, that's just how it rolls. Like, Keith, you've been to an indie show with me a couple of times. You look around, you see how many people there. I think they paid $5 or $10 to get in. How much of that is to go around to pay for a big person when they have a big person on the show? You know what I'm saying? Not to mention, hey man, they got to pay for the venue. They had to pay like the guy who, the guys that's on the card, the local guys who try to, come up. I'm just saying, there probably wasn't the money you made being on Raw. So
right.
I can see why he thinking about coming back. And I don't know all the parameters. And I mean, like I said, I don't know why he left in the first place either. Sometimes, a lot of times, cooler heads prevail, and there ain't too many places you can go back to. Also, in an interview with NBC Sports, Triple H said that some main roster wrestlers may move down to NXT. He doesn't see it as a demotion. Said, "I think you're going to see the talent move up and down. I don't think it should be seen as a demotion to go to NXT.
What?
They're just competing in a different environment." No, this is what I'll say.
No.
If you read RingTimeProWrestling.com and I tell you in my fantasy booking sessions one time, there should be an NXT Challenge Series, Keish.
Yeah,
right?
That's true.
And I derived this idea from my old high school wrestling days, right? So there's different weight classes in every division, right? In high school. So when the team has a guy at $160 and he's wrestling the $160 weight class, he's the varsity guy. He's the starter. That's what they call it, the starter. You start, right? Well, sometimes wrestling teams have extra guys. And they got guys in those weight classes that don't get to wrestle. Well, let's say you think you better than the guy that they have out there at 160, right? The night before the meet, you can challenge for his spot. You tell the coach, "Hey man, I think I should be wrestling that 160 spot." Coach grabs the other 160 pounder. Y'all have a match right there in the wrestling room. Winner gets the spot. That's how it rolls, right? I was thinking NXT Challenge Series is this, and it's a little bit of option C from TNA. Like it's all mixed up to other stuff, right? I'm NXT champion, Keish, right? I've been NXT champion for a couple of months now. Ain't nobody in NXT can beat me. I think I'm better than insert wrestler that's on the main roster. NXT Challenge Series. I wrestle guy on main roster, and if I beat him, like, and this is what I do. I'll use the NXT Championship because I can cash in the title as a shot to the main roster. Because everybody's goal is to go to the main roster, right? So I use the title as a chance to cash in. So now the NXT Champion has beaten beaten Dolph Ziggler. Now he's on SmackDown, right? Dolph got to come back to NXT and work at NXT. Not as NXT champ, but just to do the NXT. Now, Dolph can re-challenge for his spot. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we could do that as like a month trial kind of thing to see how it works. Or we could have it where he got to work his way back up. Dolph got to try to get to that NXT title. You know what I mean? And then he can re-challenge. And he could challenge. Hell, he could challenge to go to Raw. Maybe he was tired of SmackDown. SmackDown wasn't for him. Or, you know, he could wait it out until it's time for the draft or brand extension. And then, you know, you get picked up again. But that'll be ways throughout the year to add spice to the roster and add stories. You know what I'm saying? And I think the older guys going back to NXT will be a benefit for them, right? Because the thing about NXT is development. You know, I used to wonder why. Like, I used to watch the NBA D League, and I would see a guy who had been around like 8 years. Like, I remember one time I saw Mateen Cleaves from Michigan State was playing in the D League, and I was like, Mateen Cleaves like 40. What the fuck are you doing playing in the D League? I said, what is he gonna develop? Because it's a developmental league. Hey man, you are what you are when you 29. Like you ain't getting better. You about to hit the other side of this. But it wasn't there for him to get better. It was there for him to better the younger guys, the guy who was 20 and try to get better. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You
could play against a guy who we think actually has the talent to be at that next level. But he's kind of, you know what I mean? But he's going to approach you in a different way and bring a different animal that you aren't ready for. And it'll help you get better, right? So, somebody who's experienced as Dolph Ziggler, hypothetically, if he went down to NXT and worked with guys in NXT and worked matches with them, his benefit of experience for all these years, he could show them different things and teach them different things that they could use that probably they just wouldn't get in a regular match with somebody at their old peer group because their old peer group don't have access to the same information. So I think it'll be a betterment for the roster. I think it'll make the roster stronger. And I think it'll make the storylines a little more compelling. But as Triple H espoused upon this idea, just let you know I kind of thought of it first. I think that's all I really want to kind of get out of this is that I thought of it first. Mark Cuban. For those of you who don't know, Mark Cuban, owner of Dallas Mavericks, billionaire, Shark Tank guy, Trump hater. He and his ownership group owned AXS TV, right? Which is Access TV. It used to be HDNet or whatever. It was, just part of his holdings and his investments or whatever. Mark has been an investor in New Japan also, and probably been instrumental in helping him do some things. He's going heavier into New Japan. He just uses Sports Illustrated and some other people. Also, quiet as kept, New Japan getting a lot of buzz, man. Like I see a lot of the interviews with like Rolling Stone interviewing Kenny Omega and stuff like that. Like these guys, the buzz is cracking. And a side note, hey man, Rolling Stone, one of the biggest magazines of all time. If y'all want to cover wrestling, And y'all ain't called the premier wrestling journalist in America. You're playing yourself. Just saying. You're playing yourself a little bit. That being said, Keish, with all these firings going on and all these shows losing hosts and shows getting pulled off the air, I think my time is coming.
I'm about to say, Keith, you better put your stake in. I'm about to say, just go ahead and throw in your little place. I'm just saying, they got a spot for you.
I ain't harassed nobody. I ain't did that to nobody. My background clean. Y'all get me in here, man. Hey, I will not mess up my good show.
Right.
But need to hear that? Just throw it out there. But yeah, Mark Cuban is getting more involved in New Japan, so expect more U.S. exposure. So that's happening. Keish, I will give you a little gossip. Word on the street is that Bobby Lashley and EC3 are both expected to leave Impact. Their contracts expire soon, and they don't know exactly what it is, but people believe both of them will end up in the WWE. They also throw that around with Eddie Edwards. Here's the thing. Impact is struggling like they always been. Those dudes cost money. And they always spend that money to keep them dudes. Now, they probably need them. Will they go to EC3? I can see. One thing I think people don't get: the wrestling business, they let guys go all the time. Guys go different places. They let him go to TNA and develop. Now they'll pluck him and use him. You know what I mean? Lashley provides something a little different because I don't know with his MMA schedule and all that stuff. If the WWE was willing to do a part-time schedule with Lashley where he didn't have to do all the house shows and a lot of traveling, maybe. I don't think they're going to give him a Brock-like deal, even though he'll probably think he deserves such a thing. He's not going to get that, so I don't know. But the WWE, somebody got to be there thinking like, shit, if I could get a Lashley-Lesnar matchup and build that up, what I would do though, I would let that cook for like a year, Keish. At least a year. Maybe 6 months, whatever. I'm just saying, next time we come back on Survivor Series and we do a brand extension or something like that, or like a brand extension, but like a brand battle for supremacy.
Right.
Brock and Lashley. Like, it'd be...
Right.
I would build Lashley up on another brand, opposite Brock, keep them away from each other, and tout Lashley's MMA prowess. So now I have two dudes with MMA records who are, semi-successful and have won things in MMA and are legit badasses. Both of them are jacked up and big. Also, I think Brock would get some newer fans facing Lashley, and I think Lashley would get some newer fans facing Brock, if you get what I mean. Because, hey man, when you're selling the fights, a lot of fights are sold on race, and people like to pick sides, and I think it will work out.
I don't know, but I guess I had to see it.
Yeah, like I said, I would use a year pumping Lashley up and bringing him back up to speed, because I thought they were on their way with that in like 2007 and stuff like that. Like Lashley was on fire. Lashley was a part of the Battle of the Billionaires match. You know what I mean? Then all of a sudden he lost to John Cena, never was heard from again. So,
right,
we'll see. I think that's about it that I really want to talk about. So now we have SmackDown, right?
Mm-hmm.
AJ Styles opens up the show. The Singh brothers come down, try to act like they want to be down, want to be cool. AJ ain't having it. AJ like, I ain't no sucker.
Right.
So Charlotte Flair had a match. You know, I was just calling her Charlotte, and I realized they want her to be Charlotte Flair. So I'm going to start using Flair.
Yeah. Yeah. Because at first she was just Charlotte, but now it's like, nah, let's build off of this.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy because I would thought that it would have did that from the beginning, but I guess they didn't for obvious reasons. I think that if they would have done it from the beginning, it would have never had the same effect as it does like right now. I mean, right now, she then built up her name and then completely created this entirely impressive resume for herself. So, of course, I think calling her, like just like they call her Second Nature, calling her Charlotte, giving her the name Flair behind it, definitely is something that could only have happened with her being on this level of where she's at in her career. So, yeah. I mean, she's held every single woman's title that there has been since the Divas title. Well,
right.
There's NXT Women's, Divas, Raw Women's, SmackDown. Like even when it was just a women's championship, like that was Charlotte. She was there. So, yeah. I think her using, of course, the Flair name definitely has way better impact right now than it would have been had she just used it from the beginning when she started. Because then everybody would have been like, oh yeah, she done got this far because her last name's Flair. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a different tune to me. I feel like with her just being Charlotte, she was able to have the room to prove herself. You know what I'm saying, and work her way to the top. You know, it's like when Natalya still doesn't use, of course, the Hart name, but at the same time, you know, everybody knows she's a Hart, but she still had to like work her way up and to get to where she's at. You know, it has a better impact now than it would have had she done it from the beginning. You know, like, oh yeah, you know, I'm a Hart. You know, it's like, come on, bruh. We know you're a Hart.
Right.
Like, so that's how you got to where you at because you're a Hart. Like, just chill out with that shit. Like, I get it. I get it wholeheartedly. But I understand it. You know, I had this argument about Curtis Axel using the name Joe Hennett, but I get it now. You know, you don't not using your real name is a way better option, because when you use your real name, then it's just kind of like, oh, well, we know how he got here or how she got here. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, yeah, well, I mean, some people still have those thoughts considering they learn who this person really is, but it's different. It's a different outlook on that wrestler, because now it's like, oh, well, shit, they had to still work their way to the top. You know what I'm saying? Even Shane was a referee. So, I mean, like, let's just... So, just, you know, throw it, but I love it. I know I don't went all the way off in a tangent, but I had to throw that out there because it's like, to me, I had an epiphany, you know, about why everything is the way it is with the wrestlers and their names and stuff. So, yeah. Yeah, I just got a random Keisha moment in wrestling. Yeah, thank you. So, but, okay, so Charlotte had a match.
Yeah, it was with Ruby Riott, which it was a good match so far. It ended in chaos as everybody decided they wanted to fight. The Riott Squad jumped Charlotte, and Naomi came down, and then some more ladies from the SmackDown roster came. So we had the same exact thing that happened on Raw, happened on SmackDown, but slightly different. Well, the entire women's roster didn't show up on Raw, on SmackDown. Also, Natalya kind of fed Charlotte to the Riot Squad, which, implicates a little collusion. And that's not really what happened on Raw. Raw was more of like everybody beat up Absolution. Where, Natalya was looking like, damn, this is jacked up. I thought they was going to kill her. And they didn't. Because Naomi came out and Tamina and Carmella, you know what I mean? So, even the people from the Welcoming Committee was in there. So, we'll see how it works out. But, slightly different, but not too different. Like, I don't know, just too soon. It happened the same week as it did on Raw. It's like, please don't tell me y'all gonna write these kind of simultaneously side by side. So,
I don't know. But that's what it's looking like right now. Right now, it's looking like they're just gonna give them the same storyline and then run it. And it's like, no, that's not how this works. Like, no, that's definitely not how this works. It's funny because I think it worked better for Paige. It actually, it has. I don't feel like it worked better for Paige, Mandy, and Sonya, but at the same time, everybody been anticipating Paige's return. I feel like had she done it by herself, it would have been a different impact. But with Ruby, Liv, and Sarah, it's different because, one, if you were paying attention to them in NXT, then you would know that all of them were faces. So them coming to the main roster and being heels is like a whole different dynamic. And then two, I see where they're going with it, but yeah, it's definitely just the same storyline. So it's like, did y'all decide this together, or I don't understand. Like, are y'all having a competition to see which one's going to be better? Like, I'm not getting it, but I digress. Let's continue.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe part of the point is for them to do the story where we look at it and be like, oh, wow, this is kind of the same. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
So, we'll see how that works out. Apparently, Daniel Bryan will be the second guest referee for Sunday because, the KO match with Sami Zayn, because they did have the Yep movement in the locker room, did not show up for the Occupy.
Right.
But Daniel decided to add himself to the match to help make the match extra fair. I don't know where this is going. A lot of people speculate that Daniel has been cleared to wrestle finally after 2 years, and that maybe him and Shane may be set up for a match, which I would hope not to hell not. I like Shane, but I think the novelty of Shane wrestling is kind of right. Rusev and Aiden English defeated the Usos in a tag match. It was a match that also saw the New Day and American Alpha 2 hanging out. Even though they're not called that, that's what I'm going to call. I'm going to call American Alpha 2. And, yeah, so.
I mean, that's pretty much what they are.
Yeah. KO defeated Shinsuke Nakamura in the main event. And that was it for SmackDown. So, Keish.
Yes.
Sunday, Clash of the Champions.
Mm-hmm. That is correct.
It is a pay-per-view that has been used for the second time by the WWE. Last year, the Raw brand actually hosted Clash of Champions. This year, it'll be SmackDown. For those of you who are not familiar with Clash of Champions, it is birthed from 1988. Do you know the story of WrestleMania and Starrcade and Survivor Series, Keish?
I do. I do know the story. It's been told to me. I have watched it.
Right.
So I'm fully aware of the story.
Yeah. So
yeah.
So yes, with WrestleMania, when Vince McMahon decided that he wanted to move the Survivor Series on Thanksgiving, he told cable networks, "Hey, if I'm going to do this, then you take this, and the only way you're going to do this, because if you don't, then you won't get WrestleMania." The cable companies was like, "Fuck that, we got to have WrestleMania." So look, hey, Starrcade, y'all got to move. I don't know where y'all move, but y'all got to move. They moved it from Thanksgiving to Christmas. It became more of a Christmas thing after that. All right. So, next year, Crockett and them decided to get back at WWF, right? So, WrestleMania 4 is going down to Atlantic City. Big tournament for the WWE title. Crockett and them had Clash of the Champions that same night. Pay-per-view level card. Ran on free TV. Came on TBS. Oh. It became a tradition. It became something they started doing. And they do it on WrestleMania nights after that anymore. But it was a free pay-per-view. Like it came on TBS. It'd be on at night. I think a lot of times it came on during the week. 3 hours of solid content. Titles was on the line. Like I said, pay-per-view level anticipation on regular television, which I think some kids won't appreciate these days because everything is just all on demand and available for you guys. But I ain't trying to go old man or back in my day. But one of the big reasons why people having to bump things and stuff like that was because it wasn't no old demand back in the day, Keish. Like if I said I went to watch Starrcade at 8, my ass had to be there at 8 to watch Starrcade. It was cutting it on. It was on one channel, and when nobody else watching nothing else. Like we're not turning. We're not trying to figure out other shit. So,
all right. Like, look, this is what we're watching. Like that's it. There's nothing else. Nope. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I decided not to eat this week so I could watch this pay-per-view. So,
right.
It going to free TV was like amazing for fans. And they ended up having like 25 of them, I think, over the years. Might have been more than that. Like they had a lot of Clash. Because I think they even started doing it like a couple of times in the same year. But we'll go to the WWF version. Just added the other day. The Hype Bros will face off in the kickoff match. Mojo will face Zack Ryder. Not that I'll probably even watch the pre-show because I've been notorious about watching them lately.
Now, anybody that listens to the show knows how I feel about pre-shows. Like, I am not the pre-show watcher. I do not do that. Like, even with the big pay-per-views. Like, literally the only pre-show that I'm willing to watch is WrestleMania, and that's it. And even then, I don't want to watch it because it's too long. Like, yeah. I just don't do kickoffs. Like, I don't. But with WrestleMania, I have to because, like, I need to know which matches are not going to be on the main card, pretty much. So, with WrestleMania, it's just a matter of I don't want to miss nothing. But everything else is like, all right, I can't watch it. Like, so yeah. And I definitely am not too enthused about seeing Mojo Rawley versus Zack Ryder. Like, I don't know how to even feel about that, you know. So yeah.
But
we're gonna get on to the.
I could give you the. Listen, I mean, Mojo's gonna beat Zack Ryder.
Pretty much. So.
Yeah, I mean that's gonna happen. But outside of that, the next match, Baron Corbin will defend the United States title against Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. Keisha, who do you have and why?
All right, so you know what? I feel like Baron Corbin hasn't had a long enough U.S. title reign could lose the title. I'm kind of twisted on this one because I don't know if we're ready to give Bobby Roode his first singles title on the main roster yet. I know it won't be Dolph. Like, unfortunately for my friend Dolph, it just won't be him. But I go two ways with this. Either if Baron Corbin retains or Bobby Roode becomes the U.S. champion. And I'm leaning more towards Baron Corbin retaining. I don't feel like they're going to take the U.S. title away from him just yet. I think there might be a bigger place for him at the Royal Rumble. Right. I mean, other than being in the Royal Rumble, of course. I think they might end up doing something bigger with him in the title itself. So I definitely am excited to see what happens with it, but at the same time, I just don't think that they're going to take the title away from him just yet.
It's kind of hard to determine what they want to do with anybody. I'm going to say this. I'll agree with you, Keish. I don't think that they want to take the belt off of Baron anytime soon. I think Baron Corbin is going to retain. I think the match will end in chaos. I think Bobby and Baron will probably feud a little bit longer after this. But yeah, I think Baron will hold on to the belt for right now. Next thing, Usos. Fatal 4-Way. Usos, New Day, American Alpha 2, and Rusev and Aiden English for the tag team titles. How do you feel about Rusev Day? Because I'm actually kind of liking it now.
At first, I wasn't. I was kind of skeptical. See, I've learned with WWE now, just don't automatically not like something because it could turn out to be great. Okay? So, I was kind of skeptical of it at first, but I gave it a try. And now I'm kind of sold on it. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm like, oh, well, you know what? That might work. You know, actually, I'm kind of liking it. What they're doing with Rusev right now and Aiden English too, because you know what? I feel like they weren't doing much with Aiden English in the first place. Even when he was a member of the Vaudevillains, like it was just kind of like, all right, well, we're just gonna set y'all to the side and be done with it. So when they made him a singles, once his partner got released and they made him a singles wrestler, I thought that he would get a bigger push in the first place. Mm-hmm. So now that they done paired him with Rusev, I'm like, okay, well, yeah, like now this is actually touching for him because now he's back in his own environment, but at the same time, now we get to see him in a bigger light. So I actually am very happy with this pair up. And I'm okay with where they have Rusev right now. I mean, granted, I know that eventually they're going to end up splitting them up. Rusev is going to end up getting a bigger push later on in the first place. But they got right now. At least they have some place. You know what I'm saying? To where his name is still relevant. So I'm good.
All right. I'm going to say the Usos win this match. It'll be hard fought. It'll be...
Yeah.
The setup is going to be weird. But 4 people in the ring at the same time to tag in and out. Like, it just seems like they should just let it go tornado and let everybody just go for it.
Yeah, because,
it would be the WWE, though, if they didn't have, like, weird fucking stipulations that don't really make a lot of sense. But, yeah, I'm going to go with the Usos this one. All right. Shinsuke Nakamura, Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Shane and Daniel Bryan, special guest referees. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn's careers are on the line. Keish. They're not going to fire those guys.
They're not. They're really not. Why is there 2 referees? Like, I don't... Like, I'm not understanding that part. Like, why is it 2 referees? Like,
For
once I thought it was
shenanigans.
going to be 2 referees, I was like, they need to chill.
Somebody's gonna do counts at the same time. Something's gonna happen. It's gonna be some shenanigans.
Right.
I say that Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn walk out because they're not gonna get fired for WWE totally. Now they could and show back up with mask on, which would be interesting.
Right. But it doesn't mean that they don't have jobs. They just masked men. You know, so, but they ain't gonna get fired. Come on, Keith. They ain't gonna get fired. And even if they do lose this match, they still not gonna get fired. Like, no one's gonna release them from their contracts. That's not happening.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's just be real about the situation, and it ain't gonna happen.
But Charlotte will defend her title against Natalya in a lumberjack match. Keith Charlotte's hold on to that belt. Like, that's not really a big.
All right. Okay. Like for real.
What will be more interesting is how the lumberjacks break down and beat the hell out of each other, and what alliances and things of that nature will be, developed from that. So, yeah, that probably would be more interesting for me. AJ Styles, Jinder Mahal, WWE title match. Who you with?
I got AJ Styles retaining.
Yeah.
I don't take nothing away from Jinder. I feel like I don't know if they take him away from the title picture at this point, or if like this is his last hurrah with it or whatnot, but I know that he will not win the title that night.
Yeah.
I know that AJ Styles is definitely going to retain, and they're going to kind of move on from that, but it doesn't mean that Jinder is taken out of, because I honestly think that Jinder has proven that he could be a main event guy, as long as they keep him heel, because he can't be a main event guy and be face. That's not going to work. But as long as they keep him heel, and I feel like his whole run as the WWE champion was actually pretty good. I thought it was awesome. On a SmackDown stage. I don't know if he can pull it off on Raw, but I mean, we could always try it. But I mean, I'm not taking anything away from SmackDown. It's a different. Anybody that knows like SmackDown is a different environment. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's guys that's made for Raw, there's guys that's made for SmackDown, and then vice versa. So it's like, you really start to see it once they get on each show. Like, when I say each one is a different brand, it's a different brand. Like, it's no joke. So, I commend them for it, but Clash of the Champions, nah. It's going to be AJ. They're going to do something a little different, I think, after the fact, because they got to have something big for WrestleMania. So, I definitely can see AJ retaining.
Right. I'm going to go with AJ wins this match, just because I think when they got the belt off Jinder, they was looking for somebody. AJ's their guy, man. I think AJ might be the 2017 MVP. Like, I think when we start looking at the body of work, it's going to be hard to dismiss. But yeah, AJ keeps the belt. So that is it for Clash of the Champions. Also, Keisha, speaking of Jinder, last week Triple H wrestled Jinder Mahal in New Delhi. You want to take this? Who won?
Yeah, Triple H. Yeah. Look, I read that, right, and I was so mad because I seen a picture of what happened after, and I was like really pissed. I was pissed because I was like, not only do you beat him in his home, in his own country, but then you had this dude, like, I would have punched him in the face. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
Like, no. Just, awesome old I done snapped and this is a shoot type shit. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not.
I just felt like, hey man, that dude could have won. Like y'all made a big deal. Triple H like, I'm the man in charge. But yeah,
Like, to me, that was so disrespectful. Like,
Yeah.
it was just disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? That's like me beating you up in your backyard and making you apologize. Like, come on, man. That's it. That's not right. Like, what the fuck? Like, I understand this is wrestling and blah, blah, whatever. I don't give a fuck. Like, what you don't do. I'm about to have a... Let me have my black girl moment real quick.
okay, all right, Sharon Reed.
No, I don't care because what you don't do, and I'm doing a hand movement too. Y'all just can't see it. But what you don't do is you don't beat somebody up at home and then have them bound to you. Like that's a whole other level of disrespect. You might as well have spit in that man's face, talking about talking all that mess, and then you beat him. Like, you set yourself, because somebody set this up that you know. Of course, you're one of the bosses, so you know who set it up. They set it up for you to win, and then they have it set up for that to happen after the fact. Y'all have to, and this man has to make sure he still has a livelihood. He just got to flow with it. I refuse. I'm telling you right now, I would have lost my shit. I would have been like, oh yeah, you know, okay, yeah, I'm going to go with it. We went through the whole match and everything. And then after the fact, when you wanted me to bow, I would have punched you straight in your throat. I don't have time for it. I just don't. Like, what you're not going to do is stuff like that. That's not okay. You know, just like the whole wrestler losing at home situation. I already hate that in the first place, because this person, y'all hype this person up to be in their hometown, and then you set them up to lose. What kind of shit is that? What is supposed to be a humbling experience? That's just disrespectful. That's just disrespectful, and it ain't right. It's not right, because you're not going to hype me up to be at home and then have me losing. Like, are you for real? No, we're not doing that. What you're going to do is you either set me up to win or just don't set me up at all, because at the end of the day, like, if you're going to make me look good, make me look good. But don't put this out there, push it out there to where everybody's going to be excited because I'm at home and excited and this and a third and blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm taking the L? Nah. And then on top of that, it don't even be, most of them, most of the losses, they don't even be like a clean loss. It'd be clean, it'd be dirty. You know what I'm saying? Like, it'd be some dirty shit that didn't happen. Or, you know, it don't even be nothing like, oh, well, you know, it was a clean win, they fought hard, blah, blah, blah. No, it don't be like that. And to me, I can take that over a clean loss, but at the same time, an L is an L, and I don't want to take an L at home. So, at the end of the day, Triple H could have at least jumped off his high horse for one night and let that man win that match. And even if he didn't let him win, he still didn't have to have him do that shit at the end. That, to me, was the straw that broke the camel's back. I was like, nah, bro, that's not even going to work. You know what I'm saying? Just because you gave him the title and you set him up in title matches and you made him a main event dude, does not mean that you get to have him do embarrassing shit like that. That was fucked up. And I'm jumping off my soapbox because I'm telling you right now, this is how mad I was when I read it and I seen that picture, and this is how mad I am right now because that was some bullshit. So.
All right, that was hell of final thoughts. With that being said, I don't think there's nothing else left to really say. We are out. We'll be back next week with a recap, and talk to you soon. Peace.
Deuces.